Sure, it's up to you, Kev.
Okay, so before we start, we probably ask some questions. Where you guys are from, put in the chat box what the questions you may have. Usually people join earlier should learn more, right? So MyT is a coaching platform. Every Tuesday, we have a career seminar. We have many coaches joined us to help people advance the career. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Please mark where you are from, what the questions you have. So glad to welcome you all. Are you from East Coast, West Coast? Which industry are you from? What the questions you may have? Well, we have someone from Chicago, from China, from Canada. Wonderful. That's the beauty of this virtual networking. Colorado, wonderful. New Jersey, you see, we have people from all over. Imagine we all come to the same room, get to know each other. New Jersey, biotech. New Jersey, wonderful. California.
I see more people from Chicago.
Yeah, wonderful. There are a lot of our students online, wonderful. Coaching skills and communication topics, wonderful. Denver Consulting, Hui, welcome. That's a lot of familiar names, a lot of friends joining. You guys could feel free to post some questions or what do you try to get out from today's event? We're waiting for one more minute, then we start. Okay, so very briefly, MyT is a career coaching platform. So lots of our, people have questions. If I get a package, how should I negotiate? Or my job is at risk. How do I handle it? I have a performance review. How do I deal with it? How do I negotiate my advancement? How do I give effective presentations? So every day you have different topics. Every day you face different challenges. So here we have many coaches who spend their years helping Chinese Americans advance their careers. So now we have this platform to match what they are looking for. Okay, today, so happy to have George, an old friend, who is also our instructor for career advancement class. So George has been with corporate America for many years, then started his own business, then working for government. And we often talk about from the farmhouse to the White House, but we'll use a different day for that long journey topic. But today, George is here really talking about career management, the art and the science. For those people who have not signed up for free MyT membership, you will see, George wrote a lot of articles about art of networking, art of closing the deal. So you have a lot of art and science in it. Without further ado, George, welcome. And thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Do you think I should share my slide now?
Yeah, you could. Feel free.
Okay, let me try to get that set up. That's usually the most challenging part of this whole thing. Oh, I'm done. Thank you. Okay, good evening, everyone. Actually, I'm on the East Coast. It's now o'clock now. I think I say hello to all the friends from Chicago. I'm here 85 degrees. Chicago, I understand, is 40 degrees. I'm here for a week. But thank you, Kathy. Again, it's my honor and privilege to work with you and the MyT.Coach team. And today, I think we want to cover the concept of career management, where art or science. And what I have put together is a set of slides that kind of cover a little bit about what is art and science. So I want to address that way off. And instead, Min and I had this conversation when I was jumping on to talk about what is art, what is science. Science really a mathematical way to present information and actually solve problems. And the art comes in when you have to bring in creativity. And in career management, there's a systematic approach to career management. And I want to look at a more comprehensive approach. A comprehensive approach to career management is leverage a systematic approach, instill some personalization in it. And everyone has to integrate both written policy on your company's career advancement and learn the unwritten rules and overcome, unfortunately for us as Chinese American, systemic bias that we have to deal with. And then develop a network of mentors, supporter, and more importantly, sponsors for every career step. And most importantly, Kathy, you and I have this conversation. People like to come to conferences, people like to attend workshops, but they don't take away with actionable items. Actionable item meaning that how do you internalize what you learn and begin to change how you do things and actually take action. And I always used to call my class taking charge of career, as we call. We did that about 20 years ago in Motorola. Taking charge of career is the most important part of it. So to address this, along the way, we'll talk about where arts comes in, where science comes in, if there's enough questions. But I like to take this next hour and chop it into 3 pieces. And all along, feel free to ask questions, and Kathy and Min will monitor the questions, and they will interrupt me if I talk too much and interject the questions. I thought I'll share some of my personal experience, who I am, and how I come to develop this concept I call art of closing the deal in career management, the integration of processes with art and actually turn it into almost a sales opportunity for every step of the way. And I also want to talk about some of the coaching services that we have in MyT.Coach and dive into some of the conversation, the difference between large group conversations, one-on-one coaching, at least from my perspective, and the latest introduction is my small group coaching. And then I want to take time to ask Kathy to coordinate and answer questions that you might have on your mind. So, any questions right off the bat I should answer before I jump into the next, which is sharing my personal experiences? You see any question there, Kathy?
That's okay. You can move on.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to move on to just quickly give you an idea who I am. I think some of the folks have taken my first class already. I am currently working as my own company as a management consulting group with about 20 individual companies that are focused on international business training and actually business development. In fact, Kathy is one of my collaborating partners, where Wax Global and I are collaborating and help with the MyT.Coach. And what I do now is really looking at opportunity to help people. With my 40 years experience, I have learned go through 4 phases of different sectors, from private sector in small company to large company like AT&T, Lucent, working as an independent management consultant, and I also spent almost 12 years in Washington and Chicago for the U.S. Department of Commerce, helping international business development. Also spent a couple of years as a senior advisor at the White House Initiative on Asian Americans and Pacific Islander, where we focus on managing the business portfolio, learning how to what the need of the Asian American community and how the government can support them. And if you're interested, you could sort of look at my bio. It's in the So this is I spent my first 20 years in AT&T Bell Laboratories, and then end up as a product management director, managing about $400 million business. So I have a lot of career learnings from R&D, first level software engineer to supervisor, director, and then move over the business side of the house, and actually learning how to deal with customer, learning how to deal with a peripheral of R&D function, marketing, manufacturing, and even have a joint venture in Shanghai where we work with international partners. So a lot of career learning there. And then I took a year 2000, I took the package and actually started my own management consulting firm. Was focused on international business. I actually did some career management coaching there. In fact, that's how I met Kathy about 20 years ago when she was the Asian American, what do you call it? Asian American champions in Motorola, helping Asian American even back then. And then I did a little bit of nonprofit work for a whole year, helping with small business under the SBA, Small Business Development Center. But then I spent a good portion of my last career in the U.S. Department of Commerce, and where we help minority business, including Asian American and Chinese American. And we focus on international business development. I focus on international, but I do have a advocacy side to me where I focus on helping Asian Americans. So I took on being the Asian American liaison for the U.S. Department of Commerce. And actually that's how I work my way into the White House Initiative, which is a special unit under President Obama, where we focused on helping Asian American across the country on everything that's the government could provide. But I do focus on mostly on business development, and we actually have a project to focus on leadership development, where we work with Asian American across the corporate government to help them develop their leadership skill and help to support them. So a lot of people say when I talk about my career, I am pretty confident I have maximized my career potential. Everybody's different. I feel like I have maximized career potential. And Kathy was not kidding when I talk about being from the farmhouse. I grew up in Hong Kong in a pigeon farm. And I like to tell this story. You could grow up in a farmhouse suffering pigeon, SHIT, and you could do anything in the world. But I did face quite a few challenges along the way. And this is something that we should explore. Your character is built when there's challenges, not when it's success. So I felt like I learned a lot when I was laid off in a small engineering firm doing programming, then found my way into AT&T Bell Laboratory, open another world. In year 2000, the bubble burst in the technology. Instead of going look for another company, I decided to start my own management consulting firm. I learned a lot there. And I did have to deal with back then in 2003, this thing called SARS virus. It stopped me cold. 7 projects got canceled and I have to stay home for 9 months. Sounds familiar. This is exactly what happened 2 years ago, right? And then I got transferred to Washington, D.C. when I was really happily working in Chicago for U.S. Department of Commerce, helping a small sector of the country. And now I've been put in a totally strange place in Washington, in the headquarters, where I'm placed in a very awkward situation of having learning the whole new way of dealing with people and government policy. But actually, I learned quite a bit there working in Washington, D.C. And then, as you know, the last 2 years we encountered COVID-19, and this is when I left the government and want to start my own consulting firm, which is what we have now is the Global Consulting United. So I learned a lot there, definitely. So I'm going to pause there. Is there any questions on my career? Your question that you might have on my learning? Feel free to address a few questions now, Kathy.
So I would like to ask you some questions. So when you're talking about the art, when you're talking about science, You have been in corporate America, you have been doing your own business, you have been, advancing in the government, and you have been helping so many Asian Americans. So when you look at all the challenges, and we often talk about the bamboo ceiling, glass ceiling, what's your view on that?
Well, my view is the ceiling is real. I mean, the only thing you have to do right now is go look at the Fortune 1000 companies, all right, and look at who's the CEO, right? There's 10 Asian Americans, I think 2 Chinese Americans. The ceiling is real for us. If you look at the next level, which is, I say, the board of directors and corporation, the ceiling is there. You look at the partners in law firm, is there. Your partner in consulting firm is there. Partner in judges, partner in university president. So at the highest level of either corporate, private sectors, small company, the only way seemingly for Asian Americans to get to the C-level is to start their own company. Asian Americans are very successful in starting their own company. In fact, one thing I learned is really, hey, there's Asian American pick up 35% of all minority business, yet to generate more than 50% of revenue. So we're successful. Yet they only get 1% of federal contracts. So this is all example statistics that point to the fact that there's something there. I call it systemic bias against us. I'm very free to talk about it now because I'm not in the government or corporates, right? So we as Asian American have to learn, not only to learn of the process, the written policy, how one get promoted, how one help each other get along, and so on and so on. One have to learn the art. The art is where you don't have something written down for you. You have to figure out how you could fit into a particular situation and learn your way to traverse through the career steps and actually overcome some of the challenges, something I have learned, overcome challenges. It's a long answer, but the answer is we have to work together also. Okay.
That's great. And, for people who know you, they all know you kind of is the king of networking. So can you share with the audience, how you build the network? How have you benefit from the power of networking?
Yeah, I would not have found my way from a large corporation in a small consulting firm of two of us partners if I didn't know enough people to help us get started. Something as simple as my relationship with my career partner helped me lead to a career project in career that is building a network while you have the relationship and then follow up with them. So that's networking led to a project when I left Lucent Technology. Networking as in when I was looking for opportunity to supplement my consulting firm, was looking for a federal contract. Little did I know that at that time, the federal contract was very hard to get. But because of my network, I actually found my way into the U.S. Department of Commerce as an employee. Not my first choice, but the network, the people relationship helped me introduce the people who make the key decisions. So they helped me find, which surprisingly for me at the time is the federal contract was one thing, but being government employee, there's a lot more opportunity being a federal government employee. And those are two real examples of my network helping me. I'm not the smartest bird. I'm not the most articulate person. They say I don't even speak the right English, right? And how do I end up taking selfie in the White House? It's not just my basic skill. I think it's networking skills that got me there. Okay. Hopefully the answer to your question is there. It's there. In fact, I actually have that. It's becoming the most popular request in my coaching is talk about networking, because it's not written down anywhere, right? There's no book on networking. In fact, most people tell you, go network to find a solution for your career problem, but they don't tell you how. In fact, that's exactly what I try to do in one of my small group coaching, is dive into the key element of networking, which is what, when, how, and how, most importantly. And speaking to what you said before, is what does Asian American have to do? While networking is not well known already, what does Asian have the extra step in understand what it takes for them to be successful networker? It's beyond their own community. And most people know how to network among their own community, but unfortunately, our community is only so small and the world is this big. So we'll talk a little more about networking workshop later.
Okay. So you have been the one switch industry, switch different cities, and switch to different businesses. Yes. So in your view, what kind of skills are transferable, and also what recommendations you have for audience who are on the crossroad? Because especially after the pandemic, a lot of people really want to looking for what they enjoy to do, what they're good at, because the life is so short. Everybody realized that, right? So money is not the most important thing anymore. It's really find out what you love to do and what you're good at, and be happy.
Yeah, in fact, that is actually some of the, I ask people to take a step back, not just what's my next career move, right? To go into, kind of go back to the basics of career planning. And I in my class, I talk through those. Step necessary for you to figure out what you really want. And then are you honest with yourself or what you're good at? So we talk about the step, there's a necessary step for you to get feedback, a 360 feedback. And then you figure out what your family wants. Because I got transferred to from Chicago to Washington. They gave me a relocation package. I decided not to take the package. I traveled back and forth for 7 years because that's not what my family wants, right? And my son don't want to go there. My wife don't want to go there. So you have to adapt. Learning how to adapt is probably most important also. But you have to understand what you want first, right? Just because you get a job as a, let's say, a director in California when your family is in Chicago, that might last about 6 months because if you don't understand exactly what the family relations dynamic might be. So there's a lot of factors in it. And people, and I tell you, our community is worse in it, is you kind of see what other people do and want to do the same thing. No, you have to figure out who you are and if that's really what you want, and then you go do it and come up with a plan. I always talk to people, do you have a plan? And people look at me like funny. I don't need a plan. I just want to get promoted. Okay. And I do a pretty good job, I think. So I really honest answer to my clients. I do some on, thanks to you, I do some one-on-one coaching. I first step, I take them back about who they are first. And they have to be honest with themselves, right? But in our coaching environment, it's a very comfortable environment that I feel like I could share my honest feedback on how they present themselves and how they speak on the topics. So that really helped, I think. And they come back for more, so they must help, right? So hopefully they answer your question. There's a very complicated, complex answers. There's no one right answer also. That's why we have so many coaches. Everybody has a different view on things, right?
Yeah, I still remember, I went to White House for some, Asian business forum. I remember I had some discussions with you. Why people who are in charge of China relations or policies are Indians? Why I don't even see some Chinese? So you have seen many situations like that in government. So what do you think is the reasons? You also mentioned to me there are so many benefits for small business together from government, but very few Chinese apply for it. Can you explain to us what are your observations and the insights?
Yeah, so honestly, this is where this seemingly is systemic bias against us. Chinese American generally have a hard time getting security clearance, especially those with good connections, or from the American perspective, questionable connections back into the homeland. Hey, you can't control who you are, right? If you're Chinese American born in a certain city to a certain parents, now you aspire to be in America, having a career working for the US government. Hey, you can't break your relationship, but then people look at, hey, your dad works for this ministry or something, then you're wide open in terms of people on the American government side, question every relationship. Sometimes get in the way, and we all know that the China-US relationship also play a major role in how successful we are as Chinese American in the government in getting positions. Right? You look at the. You don't have to go too far, but look at my former boss, Gary Lack, who was a Chinese American, I think first generations, and he had a hard time in China in terms of trying to create a identity for himself, who he is. The China expect him to be Chinese, American expect to be American, somewhere in the middle. So sometimes it's difficult for Chinese American to be in a role being an American to relationship with China. And that's go true, by the way, for other countries. It's not just China. I don't know if that helps, but that's a very complicated answers.
Yeah, it is, but it is a common situation, right? So we're also talking about for bigger corporations or even government, a lot of Chinese employees, they really need a career coaching and career training, but very few of them to ask for management approval. I was meeting with a few bigger corporations, Silicon Valley's senior vice president, and they told me, Kathy, I don't see any Chinese come to asking for professional training or enhancement or coaching. But there are so many Indians and the other races asking for approval. What do you think are the reasons? I still remember.
It's also a little bit of culture upbringing. I felt like, and I have no trouble asking for help, as people knows that. And they do offer help, and I help them in return. I do have a lot of cases where people feel like they don't want to go ask for help because they're so assigned a witness that they have to learn about new things. They want to keep it to themselves. In fact, we have tendency to talk to each other, not to management about additional training. Management actually look to that as a skill in terms of professional development. If you don't recognize you need professional development, they're not even give you a shot at whatever that the development is for. Like, for example, management skill, right? Most engineers come out of 4 years, maybe 6 years, with master degree in computer science and engineering. They have not one class on how to manage people. Where do you get that? If the company see your potential, they will pay for your management classes. In fact, they will pay for our coaching sections, right? But individual might feel like, well, if I ask for it, that means I show that I don't have it. They know you don't have it. You know you don't have it. You just don't want them to know you don't have it. But what's the point? They already know you don't have it. So might as well ask for it, because every company, set aside company, especially for the highly rated engineers, right? So this is a learning that our community have to collectively. I think you and our coaches are doing a good job when we get to talk to people, that this really, don't be ashamed about learning new things. In fact, don't be ashamed to tell your your management that you want to be learning. And a lot of people like that. When I was in the position of helping people because I manage their budget, I always give training dollars because that's how they improve themselves. If they improve themselves, they improve my efficiency. Hopefully,
Yeah,
that answers your questions. But
yeah, it is about a mindset. We have a lot of career management class students online today. So a lot of them not comfortable to ask for a company. Say, wow, I'm new with the company. Oh, I need to waiting for my promotion first. But
I tell you one thing that they should think about is that if they are not willing to pay for your professional development, the chance of you getting promoted is 0. Okay.
That's true. And on
when
the reverse side,
well, this is a good test. This is a really good test. When I was a director, and I was about to get, in fact, I was being picked already to manage a business. But before they even tell me, I went to my boss. I said, I like to get a MBA, but I don't have time to go through MBA. I want to go to Stanford, get a 3-week class at MBA. He said, in the New York Minute, it's in New Jersey. Of course you can. It cost him $15,000, right? But that shows, what does that show? 2 things. 1, I'm willing to learn. 2, I know they're supporting me, right? That's a big test. And in fact, in our management training class, as we call, I told the high-level people, there's vice president, there's senior director. I said, if you think you can get promoted, right? If you think you have a chance of getting promoted, go ask them, see if they want to pay you to take a class in Stanford, Asian American leadership training, $15,000. If the answer is no, forget it. You're not ever going to get promoted there to senior vice president or anything, right? Because the company is not willing to invest in you, then you're in trouble. And that's why I take it back to our class participant. If you're not sure, go ask. And most likely you'll get the answer yes. And then you pay for your classes. You don't have to take it out of your own pocket. Yeah, this is something I enjoy talking to people about.
Yeah, especially during the performance review, most Chinese, when they get the feedback from the management, number one issue is, oh, you need to work on your communications. You need to work on your communications. Yeah. So that's the perfect opportunity. You ask for communications training. Exactly. You have a lot of students get the ongoing support from that because that's a great retention as well. So there is a question here. So how do you prove that you have the potential to take on more responsibilities and the worth of training?
Well,
thank you, Monica.
Okay, Monica. So I like to talk to people in person, but can you ever see a picture? But the first rule is really, you need to know that you need it. And the first rule of any promotion is you got to perform your own job well, right? So if you are in performance in corporation and government, every employee boss relationship, performance, there's a weighting category. If you're into the 5, which is highest being highest, then most likely you have the potential. Because you maximize the performance of your job, there's the next level is coming. But the next level will never come if you don't have the perceived skill set. And most likely when it comes to a performance or engineering firm, the first level is about performing to tasks. The next level is manager. Manager is managing people. And most likely, technical people don't have the people management skill. And that's where professional development comes in. So don't bother asking for professional development training if you can't perform your job well. So if you have job is performing well and they say nice things to you about your potential. And by the way, I could take anybody that's working for me, I could assign a weighting category and I could justify it. It could be just totally subjective. Right, Kathy, you know this, right?
Totally, yeah.
Totally subjective, because I could say, Kathy, you're number 2 out of 5, and I give you 10 reasons why, and I'll be right too, because it's very subjective, right? So for Veronica, for you, really is you understand how well you're performing now, whether you have, I don't know, you deserve it or not, but everybody is entitled to professional development training in most companies. So that's the regular company policy, but there's some unwritten rules who gets what type of professional.
Yeah, and in many cases, I tell people it's really, not necessarily deserve it, how you negotiate it, right? That's why you have this art of closing the deals.
Well, it's negotiation all about leverage, right? It's all about leverage. It's all about leverage. In fact, in my class, we talk about closing the deal is making a deal. What's a deal? The deal is what can I do for you as a company or individual, and what you could do for me. If I work 3 weekends in a row to help you finish the deadline, I, as an employee, either I get a lot of pay or opportunity to do assignment I want to do. That's like negotiation along the way. And most people don't negotiate until afterward. And guess what? They don't need you no more. And you negotiate when they ask you for something. It's like, sure, I'll be happy to do it, but I need to spend next free weekend, which means I have to cancel 2 vacations. I don't know, you have to make it up or not. 2 vacations, my son is doing this, but I'll do it. But after this, I would like you to give me an assignment where I could do this. Right? That's negotiation.
Right. Negotiation is art, certainly. It's art. We teach many students, right, how to negotiate the promotion, especially how to negotiate your compensation, and also other perks as well. There is a question here, any examples or a detailed advice on networking and influencing others?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure I could answer that in 1 minute, but that's exactly what, if I may, I'll go through a whole deck, and then I go through the my small group coaching, maybe a possibility of what I do in there to help answer that question, Kathy.
Sure.
Okay, why don't I go ahead and finish the slides to kind of give people an idea of what I do for MyT.Coach in terms of different type of coaching, and then we can take more questions. Would that be okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so again, I usually start the meeting by doing a sound check, and then also whether or not you understand me. I'm hoping all you can understand me. I just speak with a funny Chinese accent, British Hong Kong accent, so a lot of people are not familiar with. Well, there's actually 3 types of coaching I'm offering through MyT.Coach. And obviously, Kathy showed earlier that I'm part of I think 7 coaches that offer a large group presentation of material. In fact, we did this 7 times already. And we have quite a few previous clients that actually is in my small linking group. And I do observe that people want to hear about other people's issue, how they address it. They don't generally share their own issues. So what I try to do, actually, if you could look in the resources, I try to turn those questions in generic Q&A, question and answer. You could actually go read about what other people ask and what my answers are. So that is a large group, 30 people or so, right? 30 people or so for 2 hours. And I try to cover as much material on this holistic approach I call closing the deal on career management. But honestly, that is like a 4-day class, right? Because there's so many different elements. But we get by and we get a chance to help quite a few people answer the individual question. And now that
the class George is mentioning now is our class 8. We already have 7th class. Class 8 is about to start next month, and we have many students on the line now. Feel free to share, why you would recommend the people join this class, especially the wonderful networking. It's a VIP events. We have a lot of VIPs sharing every week. They help each other to grow and also have ongoing networking.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah,
So
continue.
no problem. I mean,
We'll
that's
show
exactly,
the program later.
yeah, you show them how to get there. And
Right.
obviously we do one-on-one coaching. This is where I felt like many of the folks who are taking the class should take advantage of, not just with me, but with all the other coaches and coaches who are not teaching the class, on different elements of their own set of issues they have to deal with. And in it, and I'll talk a little bit about what we do, what I try to do in one-on-one coaching. And then lately I developed this concept of small group coaching where I take 4 to 8 participants, where we talk about, it's the same, it's the same material, but instead of me do the talking, I like the participant to do the talking and they learn from each other. And then I also have a networking class that's a small group coaching, 4 to 8 people. Don't come to the class unless you're willing to work and come up with a way to develop something for yourself. This is what they intend for the class. And I'll go a little more detail. So the one-on-one coaching, the client actually identify what area they want to work on. I have people who so far, who they want to work on, their networking was one of them, how to create a network for themselves. One is talk about potential relocation. One's talk about business development. One's talk about interviewing techniques. And they define what they want to talk about. But honestly, none of the coaches could go on and offer them a solutions. It's what we need to do is kind of, they share the experience and the challenges. Coaches offer possible options, but the client has to develop a personalized solution based on what they learn. That's the key in coaching is, I talk a lot, but in coaching, I want to make sure they talk about what they're going to do based on what they learned from me. And then we together assess the progress and actually adjust. So it's not, usually 1 hour doesn't do much, but set the stage for more conversations.
Yeah, so George, I would like to let the audience know if they sign up a silver or gold membership within this week, they will get 1 free coaching sessions from you.
Oh, wow, free is always good. Okay, so in small group setting, this is, I think, I have done this quite a few times before, not in MyT.Coach, is you take a small group of people and they could be total stranger. In fact, that's sometimes better if they're strangers, right? They learn to know each other because I have 2 areas to identify. One is more generic, comprehensive approach to career management. I identify a topic for discussion. I go for the basic concept. The small group of people actually will work through and talk through their own experiences. Experience they're willing to share. Not everybody willing to share where deep secrets, and you can share that on one-on-one coaching. But you're talking to 4 to 8 people, and then they sometime, being if this is a generic group of folks, Chinese American, very similar challenges, and they can help each other. And they interact, they work together to develop possible solution, and based on my recommendation. So again, it's like the one-on-one coaching, but more interaction among the group. I'm hoping that out of this, if you're one of the 8 or 4, you actually have developed a network of people in the same situation that could support each other, even outside of the coaching session. So to that, I have created 2 sets, and I'm going to talk about the first set is actually coming. This is the comprehensive career management, where I have 4 sessions, 4 hours, and these are the 4 hours. The first hour, the first set, I'm going to explore the basic concept, and then I can't cover the same amount of material because I got 8 people talking now, but high level concept of what we talk about. And the second, I will dive into the career planning. I don't care what level you are, you got a plan. And I always ask people to think about a 5-year plan, to come up with a 5-year plan that's actionable. And then you have to use basically the same element, which is identify who you are, what you want to do, what skills missing, and actually what next assignment can be and how do you go about getting them. And I do touch on networking with this 1 hour, how to leverage network to maximize your career objectives. And this is where you have to network each other among the group. And actually I give homework assignment for people to go network during the week with someone they want to, but are afraid to, okay? So I do offer some challenges for people in these small group settings. And then the last thing, not everybody is into that, but everybody should learn about a career transition, because not every one of us will stay. I was a programmer, right? By the time I end, I'm working in the government, doing something on business management. So people go through the career. After 45 years, I went through 4 or 5 such changes. And most people here actually have a few more to go. And how do you, and we'll dive into that conversation, okay? So that's the first small group setting that we already set date. I think May 9th is the first class, and Min could go through that. The other one that I developed is, this is where the art of networking. And you can actually read about this, by the way, in the free resource guide, where I have 3 articles on art networking. One is what, why, where, when, and how. More importantly, how. And then I'm going to get into the conversation of, because in networking, you have to develop your own brand. You have to practice a 1-minute pitch. After the 4 to 8 people actually will practice together, and in a very comfortable environment where people are not really judging you. And my rule is that what goes in this small group setting will stay here. It's just like the Las Vegas rule, right? What goes on in Vegas, stay in Vegas. And people are not supposed to talk about it outside their group setting. And then the second one, we want to explore, and this is something you have a lot of question on, and people don't want to talk about it, but there's some unique challenges facing Asian American or Chinese American. What we should do and don't do as we try to tackle these things on whether it's the current Stop Asian Hate approach, and how do you be proud of your cultural heritage. May is Asian American heritages. Some people get in trouble celebrate their Asian heritage in a corporate environment where it's not welcome, right? How do you go deal with that? Number 3, I want to make sure everybody develop individual networking plan so that they could walk away from the class with actionable plan to help them with their career. So this is a very, hopefully we're supportive for people who want to dive deep into the art of networking. I think that should answer the original question you had earlier. And that's it. That's all I put together for today. It's a short hour. So now we're open for more open questions.
Yeah, so MyT.Coach, can you bring up the WeChat group so for people could join the WeChat group to get more information on the
I'll stop share. Let me stop share first.
Yeah.
Okay, Min. There you go.
So how to find your coach? How to find the program? So this is our class 8. Thanks to our some of our students sharing in the group. So once you join this class, you'll become the VIP member. VIP, we have weekly, closed door discussion and sharing. Also, how do you find a coach, right? So for people who scan this WeChat, join the MyT group. If you are already in the MyT group, you don't have to join. We'll send the information in all MyT groups. Thanks for AFI and Dragonfly come to supporting all the events. We want to help as many Asian Americans as possible. So here is how to sign up for George's group coaching.
Group coaching.
Yeah, group coaching.
I think we have 2 signed up already. We need 2 more to start, or maximum 6 more.
Yeah, so immediately you'll make some friends, especially how to really do effective networking to help your career and help your with your life as well.
Yeah, this is the word I would call holistic or comprehensive approach to we dive into all the different elements, the 4 different elements. It should be fun.
Okay, so any questions regarding the networking class?
Oh, that's a lot of questions. I'm gonna let you go through those questions.
Okay, thank you for those students who are sharing, why you should join the class. Welcome more people to join the VIP group. Okay.
The cost of coaching for 4 sessions?
Yeah, here say, how do you find the training program? How do you know which program is good for training, for fitting? So this is a program, this is the training customized for Chinese Americans. So here the coaches really have good experiences in corporation, in government, and also know how to help Chinese Americans overcome the barriers and challenges. So we have already over 250 alumni members, which are the wonderful VIP group to help. This training is $880 for 7 classes. So comparing to the market, probably is 1/4 the cost. Okay, this is mainly for helping Chinese Americans to build a strong network and to have ongoing networking and closed-door sharing events. Yeah, once you get into the WeChat group, you will see the link. This is offered by AFI with Vice Academy.
Okay.
Okay,
so any these questions? There's in the chat box, there's some questions.
Yeah. Is it possible to share the cost of the coaching of a session? Yes, the group coaching is kind of sharing the cost, right? And also if you're a husband or wife, but we only have 1 email for 1 membership. Eventually we could be able to share among families. But right now, if you use 1 email, you could share within the family.
No, I think they meant how much is the coaching for the 4 session? What's the cost of small group?
Yeah, so the cost, I don't remember what's the cost, but when you get online, you will see that.
100 credits, I think.
100 credits is $600, right?
Yeah, 660, I think.
Yeah. So compared to private coaching, it's much more economical, and you will.
Yeah, each one-on-one coaching is 60 for me, I think.
Also, sign for
you have
So how to sign for group coaching? You just go to this MyT.Coach. You will see the group coaching class. I recommend all of you sign up for the free membership, so you could see every week events. Like for example, this coming Thursday, we have an event. Actually, AFI and us and Xiamen University alumni organization. So this will be the Thursday event. Look at it here. Thursday event will be in Chinese. So how to seeking for suitable opportunities on the current market, and how do you advance in your career, and how do you be happy with the career and with the life. So welcome on Thursday as well. So when you become the free member of MyT, you will see all the events, and most of our coaches share a lot of career articles and information. And we also, because a lot of people, they don't really know how to do coaching, but they, like even this week, right? Some people say, wow, Kathy, I'm getting fired. What can I do, right? So you could have urgent help. And some say, I think I have outstanding performance. And during the performance review, the manager gave me very bad rank, what I could do. So if you don't buy the silver or gold, you could use the urgent help. It's like a emergency for like a hospital kind of deal. but at least you know the help is one click away.
But don't wait until you get in trouble.
Yeah,
we
that's
can't
true.
perform miracles.
Need to have your fitness.
Yeah.
And another thing is, you know, all of you, most of you know, I have like a fun fitness dance every day. So be happy, be healthy is very important. So for those who are interested in joining the fun fitness every day, welcome to join as well. We'll send that notice. Be happy, be healthy is most important. So regarding the career challenges, when you're under anxiety, when you're under stress, you do need help. So the coach is here to help and support you, because a lot of people say, oh, Kathy, you know, I'm not comfortable to really asking people constantly help me, be my mentor or be my sponsor. But here, you know, the coach is here to spend the time, effort to help you. Of course,
you know, Kathy, I want to address that a little bit. For every successful executive, there's always a coach behind them. I don't know if people realize. People always look for mentor. Mentor can only do so much, and also they are also potentially could be very subjective. I think one thing you'll find, I know quite a few of these coaches, we're very objective in our coaching and training, that you give a real honest answers. Sometimes people go to people they know they love for support, and generally there's very biased opinions. So
yeah, and I know a lot of you, especially who are already at the director level, the company already providing you private coaching. A lot of our students, even though they have the private coaching from the company, they still sign up for MyT, because MyT is really know what the Chinese Americans are facing. And also within the company, sometimes you don't feel like you can speak up your mind to address a personal issue.
You could never, in fact, you should never speak your mind in the company. Right?
Because your coach is also your boss's coach. But anyway, it's good you get the multiple help.
To allow what? Oh, Fred Ma. Is that Fred? Is that our Fred? I see the latest one is Fred Ma. Hey, Fred.
Yeah, Fred is going to be on. This is Thursday.
Oh, all right.
Fred, thank you for joining us. So, Monica, you're asking for the website here. You just go to the MyT.Coach.
Yeah, they already answered.
And also the invoice, the receipt for your company to give reimbursement is automatically generated. But if you need a customized for your company, please reach out to the coaching at the MyT.Coach.
Yeah, you can actually get to all the articles under resources. It's a free membership. And all the event will tell you how to sign up for classes. It's pretty elaborate platform that we have.
Yeah, once you become the free member, all the events will automatically send it to you, so you don't have to really watching out. So every Tuesday, 6 o'clock, we have MyT.Coach session, and sometimes we have Thursday sessions as well. Thank you, and I think our time is up. Perfect timing. Thank you, George, and welcome you all to join networking class and also art of closing the deal. And also
you can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm easily find George Cowboy.
Yeah. And welcome to the class 8. So
yes.
we have a group class, we have small group coaching, we have one-on-one coaching. So you will get whatever help you needed.
Yes, go sign up with my Uncle Fred Ma. Tell him George sent you.
Yes.
And the piece when you send me a request for LinkedIn, please put down you're part of this class. I have 600 people waiting because I don't know who they are. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, George. It's always good
Okay.
to dialogue with you.
Kathy, good to see you. I'll see you again soon.
Enjoy
Bye,
Florida.
Yeah, you do dancing, I do fishing. So that's how we release stress.
Yes.
Okay.
Be happy, be healthy. Very
Bye-bye.
important. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining. So every time we just be 1 hour exactly.
Yes. Okay, you good?
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Later.
Okay, we'll
sign off.
Yeah, you can sign off now. That's fine. I stay for extra 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Thanks all the classmates. I see many